Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Astu Tarasara Sri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Astu Tarasara Sri Srimad His Divine Grace La Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Nilachal Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Srimati Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Their Lordship Shri Shri Radha Radhanath Ki Jai. Giriraj Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimate Vasudevaya. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 11, entitled Swayambhuva Manu advises Dhruva Maharaj. The text is 26. Esha Bhutani Bhutatma Bhuteshu Bhuta Bhavana Swashaktya Mayaya Yukta Srijati Yati Cha Patti Cha. Esha Bhutani Bhutatma Bhutesho Bhuta Bhavana Swashaktya Mayaya Yukta Srijati Ati Cha Patti Cha. Esha Bhutani Bhutatma Bhuteshu Bhuta Bhavana Swashaktya Mayaya Yukta Srijati Ati Cha Patti Cha. Do the word for word translation. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Tam unto him, eva certainly, mrityam death, amritam immortality, tata my dear son, not tata, this is tata. Daivam the supreme, sarva atmana in all respects, upehi surrender, jagat of the world, parayanam ultimate goal, yasmai unto him, balim offerings, vishvasrija all the demigods like Brahma, haranti bear, gavaha bulls, yata as, by without fail, nasi in the nose, dama by a rope, yantrita sorry man, I'm reading the long, sorry where am I? Let's do that again. Esha this, Bhutani all created beings, Bhuta Atma the super soul of all living entities, Bhuta Isha the controller of everyone, Bhuta Bhavana the maintainer of everyone, Swashaktya through his energy, Mayaya the external energy, Yukta through such agency, Srijati creates, Ati annihilates, Cha and Pati maintains, Cha and. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the super soul of all living entities. He is the controller and maintainer of everyone. Through the agency of His external energy, He creates, maintains, and annihilates everyone. Purport. We can all repeat that as well. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the super soul of all living entities. He is the controller and maintainer of everyone. Through the agency of His external energy, He creates, maintains, and annihilates everyone. Purport. There are two kinds of energies in the matter of creation. The Lord creates the material world through His external material energy, whereas the spiritual world is a manifestation of His internal energy. He is always associated with the internal energy, but He is always aloof from the material energy. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita 9:4, the Lord says, Matstani sarva bhutani na chaham teshu avashtita. All living entities are living on me, or on my energy, but I am not everywhere. He is personally always situated in the spiritual world. In the material world also, wherever the Supreme Lord is personally present, is to be understood as being the spiritual world. For example, the Lord is worshipped in the temple by pure devotees. The temple is therefore to be understood as being the spiritual world. We are in the spiritual world. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Caitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavineshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyo evacha Patitanam Pavinebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the super soul of all living entities. He is the controller and maintainer of everyone. Through the agency of His external energy, He creates, maintains, and annihilates everyone. So Srila Prabhupada explains that there are two kinds of energies in the matter of creation. The Lord creates the material world through His external material energy, whereas the spiritual world is a manifestation of His internal energy. So we can understand that the Lord, there's a specific purpose for His creation. He's created this material world to basically give us an opportunity to enjoy our material desires, because we basically want to enjoy separate from Him. So He has created a facility where we can come and act out those desires that we have. And from these desires that we have come action. So we act based on what we feel, what we desire. Krishna makes all the arrangements that we actually get them. And we continue. And the whole purpose of the material creation is to show us that our desires, which is not in line with Krishna's desire, is not working. And if you go on living like that, it means we are actually very foolish, because we can see that it's not working, right? And previously I was quoting the verses from the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says the foolish cannot see how all these things are happening. They do not know what's their next body gonna be even. But we understand that by practicing Krishna consciousness, we know what our next body is going to be. And you can't say, hey, you know what, in my next life I'll go back to Krishna. Especially if you're staying in a temple. Because Prabhupada is explaining at the end of the Prabhupada that the temple is a spiritual world. So if one is living in the temple, he's living in a spiritual world, that means his behavior should be different from the ordinary people. Even, devotees that are actually living outside and trying to practice, they are still influenced by the material energy to a certain degree, because they are associating with people who are not Vaishnavas. So they get affected some way or other. But devotees who are living in the temple, their behavior should be of a very different nature. There should be some substance. When a person comes in contact with a devotee who is practicing Krishna consciousness very seriously, he should actually feel the presence of the Lord, as if the devotee is practicing nicely. Because the 9 processes of devotional service, which is the foremost? Deity worship. Chanting the holy name. Chanting the holy name is the most important activity in the 9 processes of devotional service. Whatever you do must be accompanied by the holy name. If you're doing deity worship, it has to be accompanied by the holy name. When the arti is going on, Prabhupada said that there should be kirtan, glorification of the Lord. This creates the atmosphere. It's like a festive atmosphere. You'll find the midday programs is a success. Why? Because the Lord is being worshipped by the holy name. If you just go on doing an arti, it becomes like a ritualistic program, right? But when the holy name is part of the program, then everything is enhanced. Because the Vaishnava is singing, he is actually pouring his heart out to the Lord, glorifying the Lord. Everyone else who is also present, they get to experience this. They also start chanting. They're making spiritual advancement. And the deity seeing this becomes very pleased by the endeavors of the Vaishnavas, that they are trying to approach Him through the chanting. Chanting Hare Krishna is sublime process. We have all transformed. Think about it. Before you came to Krishna consciousness, what you were doing. Some of us were worse. Some of us were worse. But we have changed. How is it possible? It's only possible by the association of devotees. And if you associate with devotees who are attached to chanting Hare Krishna, then you also become like that. And you'll see, those who actually understand the process will remain, even though the journey becomes tough. They will remain. After many, many years, you'll see them still around. Because why? They have understood. They have understood the philosophy, and they have dedicated their lives for practicing Krishna consciousness or chanting the holy name. He is always associated with the internal energy, but he is always aloof from the material energy. So it is explained that Krishna is in the spiritual world. He creates the material world, but he also enters into each atom, it is explained. Then how is he saying? You see, Prabhupada mentioned the purport. He's quoting the verse from the Bhagavad Gita 9.4. The Lord says, Matstani sarva bhutani na chaham teshu avashtita. All living entities are all living on me, or on my energy. But I am not everywhere. But you see in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says he's everywhere, because he enters into every atom. At the same time, he says he's not everywhere, because Krishna, he expands himself in the material world. He enters into every atom as the super soul. But the super soul is not in the spiritual world. Paramatma is not in the spiritual world. The Paramatma, he only enters into the atoms of within the material world, into the hearts of all of us. Because in the spiritual world, in the spiritual world, Krishna is present. Everyone is seeing that Krishna is present with them. Like you'll hear in the Rasa dance, it's explained that every gopi was seen Krishna is dancing with her. So like this. And the Lord is so merciful that even though Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ki jai, Giriraj Govardhan ki jai, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Lord is so merciful that even we basically reject His association, but He is still merciful that He accompanies us into these material bodies and observing our behavior and our actions. And He's waiting till one eagerly turns to Him. Then immediately the Lord makes all arrangements for you to come. For me, it took me 2 persons to bring me to Krishna consciousness. Chandrakanta and Rohini Nandan Prabhu. Chandrakanta was always around our house doing book distribution. We were boys, we should sit under the tree and we should make fun of him. Not knowing that one day, I will actually take his association. I remember the first time he came, when I approached him. Then he started to come to my house. But one day I said, hey, this uncle is... Because he told me that he wants me to come door to door and invite people for the Janmashtami festival. But then I told him yes. But when he came, I was inside the house, but the windows were closed and the curtains were closed. But I was looking at him through the curtain, and I was just waiting for him to leave. And half an hour went by. I checked, he was still standing there. And I thought to myself, I don't want to become like the Hare Krishnas, like what they are following and everything, because I can't follow this thing. But when I saw him standing outside through the window, somebody in my heart told me I should go and help him. And we went to all the flats, colored area, Sydenham. Not an easy place to be because I basically spent my youth there. It's not an easy place to be as a sadhu going around, because what you see is hectic. But we went to every house, and I remember telling everybody, every door I knocked, God bless you. Not Hare Krishna, because I was new. So I said, everybody, God bless you. And everybody was giving donation. Some people were even banging the door in our face. Chandrakanta Prabhu sometimes, when he comes here, he reminds me of how we did that. But it's a good thing that I didn't stick in the house and I went and helped him, because now I'm actually practicing by his mercy and Rohini Nandan Prabhu. So in this way, the Paramatma is making so many arrangements to bring us back to Him in the spiritual world. The Lord is so compassionate and so mercy. And those who become Krishna consciousness, they also become compassionate and merciful. Krishna is situated in the spiritual world. Like Gopakumar is explained, when he went back to the spiritual world, the Lord embraced him. But before the Lord could embrace him, he actually fainted out of, he became so excited that he's seen his devotee after so long. So the Nectar of Devotion explains, how many of you read this book? You read the book, huh? So deity worship is explained there, and Prabhupada speaks about those who live close to the temple, to a Vishnu temple, should at least visit the temple. How many times? 2 times. He said in the morning. And you'll see in India, people go to work, they will visit the temple, offer obeisance to the deities, they offer something to the Lord, they go to work. When they're coming back from work, they're going to have a shower, and they come back to the temple, they pay their obeisances, they go back home. So they observe their artis like this. And we live in the temple. We at least come for Mangal Arati, but we should also come for an evening Arati as well. Because in this way, you become dear to the Lord, that you observe in His artis, and you don't just leave. You observe His artis, and you try to engage in glorifying the Lord. The whole purpose of the arti is that we glorify the Lord, and the practice becomes genuine, because you remember, we are actually practicing to love Krishna. We don't have love. We have love, it's in the heart and it's lying dormant. But by practicing regularly, then gradually the feelings will come. Right? When the heart becomes purified, then our real feelings for Krishna will be awakened. Like that. In the material world also, wherever the Supreme Lord is personally present, it is to be understood as being the spiritual world. Talking about that. Sometimes I go out on book distribution, and sometimes I have to walk, and I can see the Lord is so merciful, because sometimes I'm walking far, and suddenly, like, things around me looks beautiful. The trees, the sun setting. Sometimes there's a nice drizzle from the sky. So all this looks amazing. When you engage in the service of the Lord, everything, even on the outside world, starts to look beautiful. You start to notice wonderful things, birds chirping, beautiful roses, flowers in people's gardens, and it feels wonderful. Normally, if you're just walking in the street, you don't notice these things, right? But when you engage in the service of the Lord, everything becomes visible suddenly, and you start to notice, you become conscious of what's going on. I remember I was walking, Unit 2, there's a broken sewage system. Walking past that's a sewage system, and I got that smell, which is not so nice, but it made me think about Vrindavan. Thinking about Vrindavan, I felt so nice because in Vrindavan I had wonderful experiences. I stayed in Vrindavan. First time I went to Vrindavan, I stayed for 5 months. Second time I went, I stayed in Govardhan for a month. Third time I went, I was in Vrindavan for 1 week. And I remember I was in the Kirtan. It was Advaita Acharya's appearance day. Purijan Prabhu read from the Caitanya Bhagavatam. Raghunath Bhatta appeared in the Kirtan. Because I didn't know he was there. We were dancing in the Kirtan, suddenly Raghunath Bhatta Prabhu appears. That was nice. That was nice. Didn't expect you to be there. For example, the Lord is worshipped in the temple by pure devotees. The temple is therefore to be understood as being the spiritual world. And we should make note of this because this is not exaggeration. Everything that Prabhupada is saying is not an exaggeration. We should take it into the heart and actually try to understand. One of the offenses is to think that the holy name is an imagination, right? And to think it's an exaggeration. So when Prabhupada says that we are living in the spiritual world being, because he also said that the temple of the Lord is actually an embassy of the spiritual world. And everybody come here and then they apply permanent residence, Goloka Vrindavan. So the embassy will do that, right? So you come here, you get your visa, some get their passports, right? But we want permanent residence. And then when you become purified of all material desires, become a pure devotee, then na dhanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaya mama janmani janma ishvare bhavatat bhakti rahitaki tvaye. That Lord, birth after birth, now he's not praying to go back to Godhead. Because wherever he is, he's experiencing the presence of Krishna. And he's seen Krishna face to face. And wherever he is not bothered. As long as he's remembering Krishna, then he's not worried to go back home, back to Godhead. So, Janmani Janma Ishvare, Bhavatat Bhakti Rahita Ki Tvai. Prabhupada says in our neophyte stage, we should desire to go back to Godhead. One disciple told Srila Prabhupada that, Prabhupada, I want to come back and preach. Yeah? And Prabhupada says, just finish off your business and go back to Godhead. Yeah? We should not act like heroes. We should purify ourselves. Then in a purified condition, as a pure devotee, then one thinks. Then he doesn't actually desire to go back to Godhead because he's already Jivan Mukta. He's already a liberated soul. Then like Krishna, when Krishna appears in the material world, he's untouched by the material atmosphere. So the pure devotee as well, he's not affected by the modes of material nature. He's untouched by Maya. Like that. I think it's time to round up. It's 8:15, right? Are there any comments, questions?
Mother Prashanta made. I can't find it now, but she said that Krishna never steps into the material world because wherever he goes, the Dharma manifests. So technically, he doesn't ever step into the material world.
Yeah, that's why Prabhupada is making the point, because in the Bhagavad Gita, he says he's everywhere, and he also says he's not everywhere. So as a Paramatma is all pervading, because he enters into every atom. But he is always in the spiritual world. That's the understanding.